Hello. How are you doing? I have got rid of 3 bin bags of stuff today. It feels so good. I am actually going to keep these fairy lights up though because I love them and it really just brings a bit of warmth to this room because there's always that dawning. Sometimes I think, oh, the nights are going to pull out now and it's going to get warmer, and it's not, obviously, for another couple of months at least. I wanted to share today something that has been on my mind over the last couple of days. And I've really been thinking about my goals and where I'm going and what I want to do. I'm also realizing I'm slightly blending into this sofa as well. And I think it's a personal choice in terms of January and where you're up to. Some people love it. Some people love Christmas. So actually this time of year isn't particularly motivating or exciting. They just want to retreat and then maybe revisit in the spring. There have been New Year's where I've been good to go and I've had a plan and I've done the plan and it's all gone swimmingly. And there have been other New Year's where I've had no clue, no direction, no confidence, all of the self-doubt, like all of the things. And so what I want to share with you today is for you to take and use and borrow and just take a little bit of it if you want and leave the rest. But my commitment in terms of showing up is to continue to do this work. And it's really difficult sometimes to try and please everybody and go, well, if it's this or if it's not, or, hopefully if you, all of that. I want to be very clear with how I'm going to show up for you and what I'm going to share. So firstly, I will say this is for you to pick and mix and choose, as with all of my work. And secondly, this just might give you a bit of clarity. And I don't think that we have to, with lots of things, live in a either or situation. So you don't have to be 100% motivated or not at all. There is a whole spectrum here. So in terms of my goals for this year, I've really gone in. I've gone on a Canva document. And this is like a 20-page document, which I know sounds quite overwhelming as I'm saying, but honestly, it was the most enjoyable way of doing it. I basically got one of those photo gallery templates, and I've been just dragging and dropping pictures, different areas of my life. My kids were like, what are you doing? What's happening? And they've got a little page as part of that. And I really love that way of visually representing what's important. Also, another thing that happens with goal setting for me is I've been to those workshops, I've been to those vision board situations, and I've had that moment where I flick through the magazines and I've not really seen anything that's aligned or that necessarily feels part of my truth. And so I've stuck things on a vision board to essentially please the teacher and then forgotten that actually it's a personal thing. So I have Google imaged things that I want, be, do, have, feel. And so it's really personalized and it feels really good. It's as my desktop backdrop. I'm chuffed to bits with it. But here's what I want to share today. The thing with goals is some of my goals are huge, expansive. I am so into the detail, what they look and feel like, but I actually have no idea how these things are going to come to life. I maybe have like 15% of the first bit of the strategy, and the other 85% it will figure itself out as we go. And I think that's the first thing to say is don't worry if you haven't got the whole how. If you've just got the detail, the specifics, like what it is that you actually want, your end destination, that is absolutely fine. And as I was looking at these, I know that phrase, what's got you here won't get you there, to be so powerful. And it's something that I come back to again and again and again, especially when I am setting goals. What is going to be required of me? Who do I need to be in order to hold this space, to show up for these goals, to really do the thing? And I think sometimes, especially with this manifesting conversation, it's like, but I've asked the universe, I've put it out there, so let's just see what happens. And there is so much more to it. You have to take the action. You have to move towards it. You can't be in a static sitting position. You have to go and meet it, essentially. I always use this example that you can arrange to meet a friend for a coffee, but until you leave your house and actually go and drink the coffee with your friend in the cafe, it doesn't happen. Very simplistic, but hopefully, excuse me, hopefully it works for you. Okay. Get the cough out. All right. Here are my follow-up lists after I looked at my goals. And they started with, so therefore, ... What's in and what's out. And today I'm going to circle back to me sharing that I got rid of 3 bin bags of stuff. Lots for recycling, lots for the charity shop, lots for the bin. Why am I holding on to these things? Not relevant. Been shredding loads of stuff. It feels brilliant. When we set our goals, when we think about who we want to be, we then have to ask those next questions of, so what's in then? What will then fit in with this new version of me, these goals, this person that I'm becoming, and what is out? Now, the idea that these things are just going to fall away and become a reality overnight is a myth, and sometimes like overwhelming, like, well, how am I going to figure out all of this by midnight? But there is something so powerful, even just about identifying them, labeling them, listing them down of what is in and what is out. Because every time you come back to this goal, you can then have that check-in of yourself of going, oh, that's why I'm not moving forward, because I'm still doing these things. I'm still spending my time over here, or I'm still stuck in these thoughts. And actually what I need to bring in is a bit of X, Y, and Z, whatever that might be. So writing a list like that can be really powerful. The second thing is, what is going to clear the path for these goals to come in, and what's going to block and stop it? And we are all of a certain age now. We've lived a life on planet Earth, and over the years we've picked up so many brilliant things, skills, talents, experience, stories over the time. But we've also picked up some things that are either outdated, they never belonged to us in the first place. You know, it might be some woman who said something when you were 9 and you suddenly held on to it and it became part of your reality, and it's only now at 43 you're going, hang on a minute, that didn't belong to me. I didn't believe that at the time, and yet because this person was an adult, I took it on as my own. Maybe that's just a personal situation, but it's really interesting. Oh, I've also got a 9-year-old as well. And so I remember being 9, and yeah, it's a pivotal age. So understanding what's going to clear this. So even things like, for me, of having an organized house. And I know that sounds like a very kind of Pinterest 1950s version, like, I like to keep a clean house. But I mean, I've got 2 children and we live in London, so we haven't got oodles of space and 9 different floors. And sometimes we do feel a bit on top of each other. But I do know that if I clean that kitchen really well the night before, the next day it's already clean and it feels great, and I start my day in that flow and it's fantastic and brilliant. So doing that exercise today of just clearing up the physical stuff. You can't see it, but over here, there's a massive basket of shoes where we keep our shoes when we go outside. I don't know whose shoes were in this box, but shoes from like 3 years ago that do not fit my children anymore. They were still in this box. People were going through it like a Labrador, like, need to find my shoes, need to find my shoes. Just clearing that today, it just has helped me give me clarity, give me space, give me perspective, all of these things. Equally, the stuff that is blocking and stopping. There will be some thoughts, some opinions, some phrases, some parts of yourself that maybe you've held on to for a long time. And these might be things on the surface that do not please, do not delight you, do not on the surface serve you, but underneath you're like, why am I holding on to this then? What am I gaining from this belief or this pattern of behavior of this or this way of being? And I've really come to this place and space in my life that, like we all know, we're in charge of ourselves. And we get to choose. We get to choose again. And again, it might not be that like, oh, I now wasn't doing that and now I am 100%. It's a work in progress. However, there are things that we can make decisions on a day-to-day basis. Finally, what is going to attract those goals to us, and also what's going to distract us? And you might have a list of things that you know do not take you any closer to your goals. If that is the case, it's now time to create a plan to begin to shed them. We've got a massive plan over here. This morning, and this was an adopted plant as well, so I feel like quite a responsibility towards it. This morning, I watered it. I took off some of the brown leaves. I gave it a little turn around, so new bits got a little bit of sun. I nurtured it. And my daughter was saying, is it going to be okay that you're taking those leaves off? And I said, yeah, it's fine, because we're taking these leaves off and creating sound like some sort of earth mother. We're creating space for the new leaves to come in. And she just kind of nodded and cracked on with what she was doing. But that process of pruning and decluttering and getting rid of these things so you can create this space that you can grow into. Spoiler alert, we also can do more with space than we think. We can grow into things. And I know that when we moved from our old house into this house, it's not hugely different in terms of space, but this house is a little bit bigger, and yet we filled it. Yet we have expanded to fill this space, and you too can. Imagine what it would be like to feel like you are operating from that expansive state where things are clear, things are crisp, things are well thought through. And imagine how much wiggle room you can have. All of this stuff and these things and this old crap, it's time to get rid of it, especially if it's not serving you. Yeah, it's good to kind of go, wow, that was a really tricky time at that time. But now I want you to think about where you can put those things now. And there are definitely things that I have, tricky times that I've had in my life that I have to compartmentalize it. I have to put it away, and I have to put it in a box essentially and say, yes, I can work on that and be sad about that or deal with that. But that box is not coming into this space right now when I'm trying to create X, Y, and Z. That thing that was really upsetting or saddening or difficult or challenging, now it's time to pack that in a cupboard for another day, for another time. And yes, I can go and look at it, and that's not pretending it didn't happen. But I've got work to do. I've got things to create and stuff to make happen, and so have you. And so let me just run over those questions very quickly again. Create your goals. Understand what it is you want to be, do, have, and feel, and where you're going this year. If you want help with that, of course, book in a strategy session. I would love to help you. Then the follow-up questions. So therefore, what's in and what's out? What's going to clear and what's going to block and stop the process? What's going to attract and help that goal and that process gain momentum? What's going to really attract and make it exciting and move it along? And what's going to distract? What's going to pull you and veer you off the path? Have you ever been in that place in life sometimes where you've been on a path for a while and then you suddenly stop one day and go, how did I get here? This was not the path that I wanted to be on. So I need to go back, or I need to turn off, or I need to make an active decision to take an alternative, to choose again, as Gabby Bernstein would say. I hope that's been useful today. Please do check out my Work With Me page, subscribe to the channel, share with a pal, follow along, use the comments for accountability if there's something you're working on, and also reach out. You can email me or just direct message me through my website. There's a little purple button at the bottom in the bottom right hand corner, and we can book some time in. We can get this thing moving. I want to wish you Happy New Year once again, even though we're the 3rd of January today. But I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here a lot, helping and supporting you to create the life and business blend, your success pick and mix that you always dream of. And now is the time. Lots of love. Bye.